You're staring at your computer screen, but the words are just bouncing off. You've read the same email 3 times. You feel a heavy, thick fog settled behind your eyes. A mental fatigue that sleep doesn't seem to fix. You tell yourself it's just stress. You tell yourself you're just getting older, or that you need another cup of coffee. But here is the cold, hard truth. Your brain is trying to scream at you. It isn't just tired. It is physically changing. Every time you engage in these 6 habits, you are initiating neuro-inflammation. It's like a slow-burning fire inside your skull that cooks your neurons and shrivels your hippocampus, the center of your memory and emotions. We've been told brain decline is inevitable, a slow slide into forgetfulness. That is a lie. As a neurologist, I see the scars of these habits every day. I see them on functional MRI scans. I see brains that should be vibrant, looking dimmed, like a city experiencing a rolling blackout. But here is the big promise. Your brain is the most plastic in the known universe. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to perform a system override. I will show you how these 6 habits, things you likely did this morning, are hijacking your neurochemistry and rotting your focus from the inside out. More importantly, I'm giving you the biological patch to stop the damage and rebuild your gray matter. We're going to dive deep into the mechanisms, why your healthy breakfast is killing cells, to the trigger that makes your brain feel wet wool. But before we get to the cure, we must identify the enemy. It starts with the advice that is actually making your brain rot faster. For decades, you've been told the same tired story. Just do a crossword puzzle, take a multivitamin, and get some sleep. We've been conditioned to believe that cognitive decline is a natural process, like the tread on a tire, until it finally goes flat. You've tried the brain games and powders, only to find that the brain fog remains. If you're fighting a losing battle, I want you to hear this clearly. It is not your fault. The medical guidelines have failed you. They treat the brain like an isolated organ. They tell you to manage stress without explaining your environment is designed for panic. They suggest moderation with sugar, but they fail to mention a specific toxin, high fructose corn syrup. It doesn't just make you gain weight, it actively breaks the blood-brain barrier. That barrier is the elite security detail for your most precious asset. But the common myth has turned that security into a sieve. Heart-healthy grains and frequent meals are keeping your insulin chronically elevated. This leads us to our primary enemy, type 3 diabetes. This is the term for Alzheimer's. Brain damage isn't just about getting old, it's about brain insulin resistance. When brain cells cannot process energy, they don't just slow down, they starve. They begin to autophagize, essentially eating their own membranes. They didn't tell you the truth about your healthy fruit juice or yogurt. They are triggering a metabolic cascade that ends in the destruction of synapses. They ignored the blue light at 11 p.m. Your brain perceives it as the midday sun. This halts the production of melatonin, your brain's primary cleanup crew. You haven't been failing your brain. The system fed you an outdated manual. We've been treating the symptoms while your biological OS is being hacked. But to fix the system, we have to understand the hardware. In the next chapter, we pull back the curtain. I'll reveal the aha moment that will change how you look at coffee forever. Stop thinking of your brain as a computer. Start thinking of it as a hybrid engine. This is the human OS realization. Your brain can run on 2 types of fuel, but modern life has trapped you into using the most corrosive one. Before we reveal this, I want to hear from you. Which of these do you struggle with most? The 3 p.m. crash, inability to focus, or waking up feeling like you never slept? Drop a comment below with your answer. It helps me tailor these deep dives to you. Now, let's look at the biology. Think of your brain's energy system like a city power grid. We are pumping high-voltage electricity, glucose, into a grid not built for the surge. When you eat processed carbs, you release insulin. Think of insulin like a traffic cop. His job is to open the gates, but because we are constantly eating, that traffic cop is screaming all day long. Eventually, your brain cells plug their ears. They become insulin resistant. When a neuron becomes resistant, the gate stays locked. Even if your blood is full of sugar, the brain cell inside is starving to death. This is the aha moment. That brain fog isn't a lack of willpower, it's a cellular energy crisis. The human OS fix is called metabolic switching. Your brain actually prefers a cleaner fuel, ketones. While glucose is like dirty coal, ketones are like high-grade solar energy. They produce more ATP with significantly less smoke. When your brain runs on ketones, it triggers the release of BDNF. Neurologists call this Miracle-Gro for the brain. It's the protein that repairs damaged neurons and encourages the growth of new ones. The secret to reversing damage isn't trying harder, it's about flipping the switch, moving from neurotoxicity to a state of neuroregeneration. Now we look at the hardware being destroyed. Your brain is not a solid block. It is a network of 86 billion neurons, connected by trillions of synapses. Brain damage is the physical degradation of connections. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Join the Human OS community. Ensure your brain stays sharp while everyone else is slowing down. We must understand the 5 specific pathways these habits use to hijack your mind. Pathway 1, the glycation trap. When your blood sugar stays high, glucose molecules begin to stick to proteins, like pouring maple syrup into a delicate Swiss watch. These sticky proteins turn into AGEs, advanced glycation end products. They create crosslinks in your brain tissue, making your neurons stiff and unable to fire. This is why a high-carb breakfast feels like a heavy brain. You are gumming up the gears of cognition. Pathway 2, the adenosine blockade. Most people use caffeine to wake up, but caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It is an adenosine receptor antagonist. Adenosine is the chemical that builds up to tell you it's time to sleep. Caffeine simply plugs the hole, so you cannot feel the tiredness. But the adenosine doesn't go away. It keeps building up behind the dam. When the caffeine wears off, the dam breaks. You experience a massive adenosine flood. This prevents your glymphatic system, the nightly sewage system, from turning on. You are essentially sleeping with a brain full of yesterday's trash. Pathway 3, the cortisol pruning. Every time you get a ping, your adrenal glands pump out cortisol. In the modern world, we are marinating in it. High levels of cortisol act like acid on the hippocampus. The neuron looks like a tree in winter. It loses its leaves, its dendrites. When you lose dendrites, you lose the ability to form new memories. You are physically pruning your own memory bank. Pathway 4, the myelin erosion. Despite its name, your brain is actually 60% fat, but modern seed oils corrupt that fat. Think of myelin as the insulation on a delicate electrical wire. When that insulation cracks, the electrical signal leaks out. This is the definition of slow processing speed. Pathway 5, the blue light toxicity. When blue light hits your retina at night, it sends a high noon signal to your clock. This triggers a mitochondrial panic. It creates oxidative stress, the biological rust on your brain cells. Knowing the mechanisms is only half the battle. Now we translate this science into a high-performance protocol. We have identified the fire. Now we installed the sprinkler system. This is the Human OS Recovery Protocol. This isn't about vague wellness habits. It's a precise, time-blocked strategy to optimize your neurochemistry. Step 1. The 8 a.m. cortisol reset. Your brain is most vulnerable in the first 60 minutes after waking. No screens for the first 30 minutes. Instead, seek direct sunlight. Photons hitting your retina trigger dopamine, and they set your circadian clock. Step 2. The caffeine delay strategy. Remember the adenosine flood we discussed? If you drink coffee immediately, you're ignoring your natural peaks. Delay your first cup by 90 to 120 minutes. This keeps your receptors clean and prevents the 2 p.m. crash. Step 3. The anti-glycation eating window. We must manage the insulin traffic cop. Use a 16 to 8 feeding window. This forces your body into autophagy, A-U-T-O-F-A-G-Y. Your brain identifies its own trash. It breaks down sticky AGEs for fuel. Step 4. The alpha wave microbreak. One habit damaging your brain is task switching. You pay a cognitive switch cost. Work in 90-minute cycles, then take a 10-minute NSDR break. This shifts you from stress waves into the alpha waves of neuroplasticity. Step 5. The glymphatic flush. Late-night eating diverts blood from your brain. No food 3 hours before sleep. Your brain needs that energy to perform its nightly pressure wash. Step 6. The digital sunset ritual. Blue light at night creates metabolic noise. Implement a digital sunset 60 minutes before bed. This allows your pineal gland to release a surge of melatonin. It is the master antioxidant that repairs neuroinflammation while you sleep. By following this protocol, you provide the raw materials for repair. You are moving from a shriveling brain to a blooming one. We have covered a lot of ground today. We moved from microscopic scars on your neurons to the protocols that can erase them. Remember, your brain is not a static organ. It is a dynamic, living system. It responds to every input you give it. Your current state of fog is not a life sentence. It is a response to environmental inputs. By changing the input, you change the output. Let's do a rapid-fire summary. 1. Stop the morning cortisol spike. 2. Delay the caffeine. 3. Flip the metabolic switch. 4. Protect the prefrontal cortex. 5. Prioritize the glymphatic flush. 6. Initiate the digital sunset. If you implement even 2 changes this week, you will notice the fog lifting. You will regain the cognitive edge you thought was gone forever. You are moving from survival to a state of neurological mastery. But there is one hidden factor remaining: the specific nutrients that build new synapses. Watch our deep dive on the 5 neuronutrients that regrow brain matter. These provide the bricks and mortar, Click the video on the screen now. I'll see you there.